two things we want to talk about tonight. One is Hefsek Shalimud Torah, and the other is the difference between Eretz Yisroel and Chutz La'aretz. Talk about both of them many times. But the first thing we're going to talk about is Hefsek Shalimud Torah. This idea of a 2-month summer could only be created in the warped minds of America. And when I say warp, I'm speaking not just B'loshen Noki and not just in a very mild terminology, that it's shaykh for a person to dream of a hefsek, shalimud Torah for 2 months, and consider himself a ben Torah. Only America come up with such a preposterous idea and swallow it and believe it. On the 3-week Ben Azmanim in Eretz Yisroel, you have to make sure that you learn stark and be careful what you do. That a person has the idea in the machshava that he's going to sit for 10 months, and he's going to strike for 10 months. That's what he's going to do. And 2 months ago. And then I come back at Elul, hey, a lot of pictures, a lot of money in his pocket, and very little Torah. 10 months. Now, well, by speaking right now, all these camps have learning. You got to learn in these camps. You got to learn. I mean, I know what it looks like there. Got to learn, you got to learn a little here, you got to learn a little there, you got to learn a little this, you got to learn a little that, you got to learn, you got to teach, you got to do this, you got to that. You got to teach your bunk, and you got to learn a little of this, and you got to have a little of this, and then, that and that. You got to learn less than the balabot is supposed to learn an average day. That's what you got to do. Steiging has to go in one direction. A person steigs and takes a 2-month vacation from steiging, not from learning. Not learning lechut, but steiging lechut. Again, you learn in the camp. The best learning camp there is. There's no steiging. Steiging, you gotta live in learning. Gotta be in it, and that's it. It has to be your primary thing on your head. Is pshat in this sugya. That has to be what you eat and sleep with. That has to be the main idea when you go to bed. Not who won this or who won that, and who are the world champs. There never was and there never will be a person who cares more who won than Prat in the Sugya, who ever learned how to learn. And I repeat that another 1,000 times. There never was and there never will be a person who cares more about who won than Prat in the Gemara, who ever know how to learn. Never. Because even if he learns 10 hours a day, his heart is on something else more, he's never going to learn. And he's going to eat his heart out. What did I throw away my steiging for? For what? Who can kick better or throw better? Which guy is better or more agile or faster or quicker? For that I threw away my learning Torah, my steiging. In America, these words there's a lot of things on their mind. Not just who won. There's a lot of things, like the weekly lottery, who won, and the crowd money and cars and everything else, all the gashmiyas. To find somebody in America whose primary concern is Pshat in the Gemara, even a Ben Yeshiva. Even Lu Yitzur you could learn in America like in Eretz Yisrael, but to find somebody who could take himself off from what America stands for, the great country of America, where success is so great, you know the streets are paved with gold, you know that. The hearts are paved with gold. The neshama is paved with gold. That's nice. Some of the neshamas are paved with other things worse than gold. There's no way anybody's ever going to, no one ever died unless you cared more about Pshat and the Gemara. And the year's wrapping up soon. People making a cheshbon nefesh. Why didn't I steig as much as I could have? And the answer is, did you care that much about Pshat and the Sugya? I want to say something. There are some bachim in this yeshiva, I have enormous nachas from some bachim in this yeshiva. You see during Seder that they care how to read. They care about Pshat and the Sugya. They work on Pshat and the Sugya. Not just to learn, to prepare, to chazer. That's not it. I mean, it's not bad. You're preparing, you're chazering. You haven't made it yet. When you care, because you want to care, and you're working, and you got skills, how to go to a sugya, and you're racking your brains out to understand Pshat and the Sugya, that means you made it. And there are those who made it in this yeshiva. There are those in this yeshiva who made it, and it gives enormous nachas. See, in this yeshiva, there are those who made it while working on Pshat and the Sugya, and it matters, and they care, and it means something. There are those who aren't. And I'll guarantee, knowing, not assuming, but knowing that everybody really wants to learn. Although I do in the last of this one. And knowing that everybody would really like to study. So then why these yes and these not? And the answer is that those that did have other things on their mind that took precedence in importance to knowing Pshat and the Sugya. Not that these are brighter than the other ones and these are not as bright. Kishron is not what it takes. And this is something we spoke about so many times. Kishron is not it. Going back to my Panovich days, I remember all the Iluyim, and Panovich had the Iluyim. And today, a lot of them are nothing. And Panovich had woodheads who are Gedolei Yisroel, but they cared. And there was nothing else on their head. They had nothing else on their mind. And they wanted to learn. They gave it all they got. But all they got means that's it. To go, those are Rachmanus on all of those unfortunates who went away for the summer and those who are still unfortunately thinking, well, for whatever reasons they have. Arachmanus. Because they're throwing away would be a dime to 10 months with this life. In skill, in hashkafa. Hashkafa, what do I hashkafa? Hashkafa, you lose hashkafa? Sure you lose hashkafa. Of course you lose hashkafa. You don't see the same thing. Where the air is clear is one thing. And you see things, and you go into the clouds, and you can't see. And then you get used to living in the cloud, and everything's all cloudy, and you think that that's the way it is. You forgot that you were once in the clear air of Eretz Yisrael, and you saw things clearly. And then you're in the muddy gas of Chutz La'aretz, and then everything is, that's the way things look, all muddy and gassy, you know. Smog! In the smog of Chutz La'aretz, you get used to it. And that's what things look like, smoggy. That becomes the norm. And of course in Yerushalayim, no need to mention it. Jealous, who jealous of who? Those who left have to be jealous of those who are staying here. And then you go one step further. Those who are staying here and had or have the opportunity to leave and are staying, wow, what you're going to get. Rabbi, I'll put that in writing. you're going to get to staying here if you have the opportunity. If you're here by default, change it to be from default to Ratzon. A knife that is sharp. Skill in learning is called chidud. Abaya lechaded hatalmidim iskavein. Chidud means to sharpen the mind. B'yimei chorfi, when I sharpen my mind. Chorif is sharp, and chidud is sharp. Some people are sharp. Kishron doesn't mean you're sharp. Kishron means something's come a little easier. But sharpness is only shemechadidim zeh. A Rebbe or a good chavrusa shemechadidim zeh, like two knives, like sharpen each other. Either you have a Rebbe that is a sharpener, or even two dull knives. But if you take two dull knives and you rub them against each other, they'll both become sharp. A Rebbe is a professional sharpener, a good Madri Magachi who will put you in that direction, or a Chavrusa who's Mechadidim Zeh Ba'alacha. If that sharpness is not kept in use, it becomes blunt and dull. You lose it. Any sharpness gained in 10 months is lost over the 2 months. And when this is continued year after year, the person never reaches any target. Never reaches any target. He is, at best, a good mediocre. His top that he could, if he does a good job in the 10 months, and during those 2 months he learns those few hours a day, that whatever it is, and he has his mind with his bathing suit in his back pocket and his baseball cap on, and he's sitting and learning, without trying to get his mind on the Gemara. And at best, he makes the best of the 2 months, and the best of the 10 months, he'll be a decent mediocre. The best you dream of. Anything at all worthwhile? Anything that a person with the slightest amount of ambition would want? Straight. No haps. Famous what? I heard it from Chaim Shmulevitz. Then I heard it from Ramotel Gifter, Shlit Hashem for Shlema, the shamed Alter Rav from Tells, and then I heard of the Chassidim say it. Ma'aseh Rabbi Akiva, you heard it a million times already. He came home, his poor wife, 12 years. Outside the door, he heard the neighbor say, what kind of rotten husband you have? He said, left you for like a monachaya for 12 years. And she said, if you listen to me, you'll work another 12 years. He went right away and worked another 12 years. Why didn't he come home? His poor wife say hello to your wife? He would never have been Rabbi Akiva. Hefsek of the 5 minutes would have been 12 plus 12 is 24. Short hefsek. 24 years is one thing. How long is your consistent steiging? How long is your consistent steiging? Avada ben Azmanim, a little bit resting, a little bit. 3 weeks is a long time. 3 weeks is a very long time. In the 3 weeks, you keep us in a few good storm, and you take a little piyul here under guidance and under this, maybe with sneeze and whatever. I don't know where you can go. I don't know where you can go in this country. I don't know where you can go. But go somewhere but a Torah tourist bus with blocked windows, So they take you to a kever and get out and make sure the kever is all right to go to. Okay. Rest a little bit, of course. You have to rest a little bit. But when you rest, a ben azmanim of resting and a ben azmanim kept in the right atmosphere, that's not a hefsek. You see, whatever is needed, the normal growth, a person has to rest a little bit, take it easy a little bit, little relaxing from pressure and building up your own rotzon to learn. That's what Ben Azman was doing before. A lot of people strike more in Ben Azman, because Ben Azman you're learning Lishma totally. Learning what you want to learn and when you want to learn, and no one's watching you for learning. That is really very important. Ben Azman is a very valuable thing. short and made use properly, you don't go to the wrong places. A hefsek of 2 months that's it. That's it. And people look at me, I fight for every day. I fight for every day. And everything, other yeshivas just pack out like that wholesale. They just pack them out, leave, save money on food, get out of here, other yeshivas said, hey, go and leave, and then the Maggid Yeshir will start taking vacations a few weeks earlier because no one's known to give a shir to them, they're happy. And here I'm fighting tooth and nail for a day, 2 days, I'm fighting, people look at me. Rabbi Yisai, you're going to thank me for every day I fought for you, because I did it for you, not for me. Every day. But you stayed longer. You're going to be happy. Sometimes people let me go already. You're going to be thankful for every day that I encourage you to stay a little longer. Okay, that's the meaning of hefsek, learning Torah. People that have this idea of chidud and charifus, you got to keep it up. You got to use the head every day. Even ben azmanim, you got to learn the ilan. To keep up the charifus that you got, the chidud, the sharpness that you got, you only get it by learning the ilan. Now, of course, there's skills. I mentioned in the beginning of every zman, there are skills of reading, there's skills of the key skills, putting together the sugya. Those skills also you lose quickly. Your mind like Zekra and everything's gone and lost. But the main skill, what really counts, is healing. That's what really counts. Sharpness, sharp mind, penetrate, go deep, under the surface. Not to take things at face value, to start asking questions. That's the skill, that's the name of the game. That's what's called learning how to learn. Really going into the surface. That you lose like this. That has to be fed. That sharpness of the sword has to be fed to stay there. Even Bein Hazmanim. Even Bein Hazmanim, we should have a shtickle seder. Either to chazer, to write over some of the ideas into the sugyas, or to go what some people do. But I'm holding my Bein Hazmanim yet, so I'm just giving some ideas now. Or even for now, when it's a little weaker elsewhere, and even here, they're less brachim in the yeshiva. Baruch Hashem, those that are here, Baruch Hashem, and keeping it up, and hopefully they'll keep it up. Adrabah. But Kedai, during this man, when elsewhere it's weak, and the Sultan tries to machlish you as well, Adrabah, to take one sugya and to work on it. And people should work on chaburas more. A couple hours a day, to keep the charifus, the chidud, the game, to keep it alive. Well, you can't learn the yun. The shayach to learn the yun can. But here, even those that are staying here for Bein Hazmanim should have it on a project right now to take 1 or 2 mitzvahs, go through the Minchas Chinuch, go through the Rambam Mishnah Melech, a certain inyonim, or something that appeals to you, a geshmaka sugya, a geshmaka mitzvah that you think that you would have, and what you would really want to cover all the studying into it, studying Minchas Chinuch, studying with the Rambam, with the Mishnah Melech, through the geshmaka things, chakir, studying. Keep your chidud alive. Do some writing, learn how to write well, and put things in writing. Writing is very helpful for that. Second thing is the difference between Eretz Yisrael and Chutz La'aretz. We just learned now the Meraglim and Parshas Shlach. So they said Lashon Hara on Eitzim Va'avonim. They said Lashon Hara on Eretz Yisrael. Avira de Eretz Yisrael machkim. Can't get around it. Gemara talked about the Zera. Gemara in Baba Basra Kufnu Chesim Beis. But the Zera had one, when he was in Babel, he had one pshat. He passed in one way. And then he came to Eretz Yisrael and he changed his mind. Amar Rav Zelig Shmami no avir Eretz Yisrael machkim. Says the Rashbam, She'alisi l'Eretz Yisrael nosati libi lotzeis mishutosi lamoid ala mitas hadvorim. Because in Eretz Yisrael, the Yad Ramah says over there, Machkim avircha machkim do anu nachti lo'imko d'haydina desalki l'Eretz Yisrael. Amitas hadvorim, emes, and oimek is only Eretz Yisrael. Chutz la'aretz is a place where things are superficiality reigns. Superficial world. Life is superficial. What does the eye see? The eye see cars. People are judged. He's a Ford. He's a Buick. Caddy. Continental. Mercedes. He's a Jaguar. That's what he is. Or look at Dun & Bradstreet. He's 6 figures. He's 7 figures. He's 8 figures. What's he going to do with 8 figures? All of a sudden he gets a heart attack and 8 figures stay in the bank and he gets in the casket. What's that? That's life. That's a man. That's living. Life is just passing time, enjoying the minutes, spending time with people, killing time. It's a superficial life. Depth of life, kemat, chutz in the B'nai Torah and chutz la'aretz, depth of life, kemat, doesn't even exist. L'redes la'oimko, said Rab Zera. Only in Eretz Yisrael I came to oimek, Ba'amitas hadvorim. These are the words of the Rashbam and the Yad Ramah. Rak be'eretz Yisrael shayach la'gia la'oimek u'l'emes. Because the Avira Eretz Yisrael machkim means that it takes you to a different dimension. That this dimension is not available in Chutz La'aretz. The dimension that Eretz Yisrael puts you into is not available in Chutz La'aretz. I found the Maharal. This is Dover Niflo. Or else Nagdova to Derech Chaim, that's his parish on Ovos. Brings the Gemara in Brochos. Shimon Yechoy Yoimer. Sholosh Ma'atonos Nosel HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yisrael. 3 Ma'atonos the Kadosh Baruch Hu gave to Kal Yisrael. Kulam lo nitnu el aidei Yisurim. But he made you have to pay for him with Yisurim. Can't get it by living an easy life. Eilu Hein. Torah. Take it easy. Live in a nice place. Yeah. Torah, no Torah. Torah, you need Yisroel. Eretz Yisrael, Elam Haba. Ubiyah Dover Zeh said the Heilige Maharal Shel Eilu Shloisha Dvarim we need Yisurim. Because all of these things are one Yisroel. Eretz Yisrael, Torah, and Elam Haba are Dvarim Ruchniim. Kedusha. The Eretz Yisrael, the Eretz HaKedusha. Asher ha'oretz hazois nivdeles, not part of the world. And the idea that I got of Eretz Yisrael is, I don't know if I mentioned that, I don't remember. Embassies are exterritorial, meaning that the American embassy in Tel Aviv, you walk in there, you're in America. That's the din. That's the Bein Leumi. International law is whatever embassy you're in, the laws of that country apply to you. Even though it's in this country, but within the walls of an embassy. Eretz hazoisi nivdeles. It's not part of this world. It's Kodesh Baruch Hu's. It's an embassy of Hashem. It's Gan Hashem. It's a different world. Chatzreis Hashem. Kodesh Baruch Hu's embassy on this earth. So when you're sitting in Eretz Yisrael, you're not in Almo de Shikra and Almo de Chashucha Olam HaSheker v'Achoshech, that's not Eretz Yisrael. Eretz Yisrael is different. In Nivdelis, yesh bo HaSeichel Yosef Mishar Votzos. Im lo yikein shoy Eretz Yisrael, Ma'ila Zois l'havi Eretz Yisrael, Machkim Yosef Mishar Votzos. And it wouldn't be Dafke Eretz Yisrael, there's Nevuah. It's moved out, it's a different world, it's a whole different world. Same thing, Torah and Olam Haba are matonos. Ubnei zeh nikru elu givu dvorim matonos, says the Maharal, ki ha-matona ma she'eino shayach la'adam mitzad atzmo. Something that you don't own, you didn't earn it, you don't own it, you didn't earn it, you didn't inherit it. It's given to you. V'nitan lo mizilosoi. It was given by somebody else to you as a present. Ki ha'adam hu ba'al guf chumri. The ba'al guf chumri prevents you, says the Maharal, from getting the aim mitzido hadvorim ha'elu. Shem dvorim nivdorim elokiyim. Your guf chumri does not permit you to receive Torah and Yisrael and Olam Haba. Rak al yedei nisurim, the matim esachayim v'guf ha'adam, the sakib chisusoi, ad she'roi elav dvorim elokiyim. Therefore, you get Torah, Eretz Yisrael, and Olam Haba. In a place like America, where the Chumri is, and the Chumri is, and the Gashmi is whatever it is. There's no Eretz Yisrael, of course, and Torah and Olam Haba. Nitan, Yisuri, got to pay for it. Somebody who makes a decision to stay here is paying. There's more Gashmi for Chutma. More. There's a lot of Gashmi for Chutma. And you're staying here for the summer. You're paying. You're paying for Torah. You're getting Eretz Yisrael, and you're getting Torah, and you're getting Olam Haba. All three together. By paying for it, on not staying in a place where there's less Gashmis and less Chumriyat, you're staying in Eretz Yisrael. And you're going to be happy you did. If you did. And you're going to be sorry you didn't if you didn't. I want to tell you about the Gechidush. That Eretz Yisrael, the idea of Avira, the Eretz Yisrael Machkim. Let's take these words. The Avir, the air of Eretz Yisrael, gives you Chochmah. Machkim, it gives you Chochmah. There's a power in the air of Eretz Yisrael that it gives you Chochmah. How much Chochmah does it give you? I want to hear Megala. I want to Megala a secret over here. You can tell anybody you want. Ask the secret around, but it's a secret. Why is it a secret? Nobody knows it. Pashut Pshat, which also nobody knows ever. Very rarely people anybody knows Pashut Pshat. Pashut Pshat and Avira Eretz Yisrael Machki. It's a matana. Eretz Yisrael is a matana. The Torah of Eretz Yisrael is a double matana. Torah is Eretz Yisrael. And the matana is according to how much you appreciate it. The noisin hamatana yisborach shemoy. These are two of the matanas right there. Eretz Yisrael and Torah, two of the matanas that the Maharal that are given because they're alokim and b'shumoyfen. You can't get them. You can't get them. Except that the Kodesh Baruch Hu is giving you what you don't even earn. It's a matana. Well, in Hilchas Matana, there are also laws. There are laws in how, on what Matana is. And the law of Matana is, when you appreciate the Matana, the one who owns it, let's say somebody owns a bunch of cameras. You got 50 cameras. You got a simple Kodak, one of these throw away Fuji cameras, one-time use, and a bunch of those. And he's got a bunch of better ones, Canon, and Leica, and Hasselblad, And he invites people in, his nephews, his grandchildren. I got a cameras to give away. So he sees who looks, and then there's somebody there who really, really knows cameras. Goes to the Hasselblad, and his eyes pop out. And he thinks, wow. He's going to get the Hasselblad. Why? But you're not going to give it to the other guy. He doesn't know what to do with it. How do you hold it? Which side do you hold it on? Doesn't look like a regular camera. What do you do with it? But the one who knows what it is and appreciates it, his eyes pop out. Wow. Wow. And that's the way it goes with Noising Matana. You're not going to give him Matana so he doesn't appreciate it. Snap and throw away. If that's your level of appreciation, you get to snap and throw away one. If your appreciation is a little higher and higher and higher, you're not interested in one of those press and that's all cameras, but you want to do a little thing, you want to know a little, you do want to, and you know how to adjust a little bit here and there, and you know how to adjust very well, and you know how to find viewfinders, you know how to do this, you know how to do that, and you'll get what you know how to do and what you appreciate. Avira, the matanos of Eretz Yisroel, the Torah Eretz Yisroel that the Kodesh Baruch Hu gives you, is kifi your appreciation of Torah's Eretz Yisroel. And lack of appreciation is fakir. And the same Eretz Yisroel that could be so fantastic and machkim, like the Zelig says, it gives you oimek and emes, which is what the Zelig went to Eretz Yisroel to get, and he wasn't ashamed to change his mind. I changed my mind, but Chutzlor you pass him like that. That's Chutzlor. What do you expect in Chutzlor? So Chutzlor, I see the emes, I should pass in the truth, I should come to oimek. No way. I'm Eretz Yisroel now. I see things differently. Sforno says, Adova Neira Ma'oi. I'm not sure if I mentioned that on Friday. Eretz Echelos Yoshvecha. As the Raglim say. Okay. He said it right, it said there's germs in the air because wherever we go, people are dying and dying and dying, left and right. They're dying here, they're dying there. Somebody showed me an interesting Kadmoin that says that he found that the Canaanim had a minhag that they believed in Olam Haba, but they believed you have to earn it, except if you go with protexia. And if you get buried with somebody who's a tzaddik, then you go in with him. So when people died in Canaan, they didn't bury them until the tzaddik died. In their eyes, the tzaddik. And then when the tzaddik died, all the dead bodies, okay, burying time. Let's say, well, the body's not buried. Because Rachel made it that Eoy died when the Radman came. They had hundreds of people waiting, maybe thousands of people waiting around. There's no tzaddikim didn't die for a long time. I don't know if tzaddikim did what to begin with. But anyway, they were waiting for tzaddikim to die, and all of a sudden, so all the tzaddikim, and the Ragam didn't realize that. They just thought that, it's Magefa. This is the air, the air is poisoned air. Everybody's dying. Wherever we went, people were burying all sides. And he was like, yo, do the Kodesh Baruch Hu Rashi, did it b'chavon. Says this one, no, vayamusu anoshim moitziei dibas oretz v'mageifo l'bnei Hashem. Says this one, no, v'oisem mageifo shehem omru. They said that the Eretz Echelos Yoshvecha. They said that the Avir of the Eretz Yisrael is poison and has germs in it and kills. So for them, it kills. The air that they breathe in Eretz Yisrael went into their lungs and waited till they came back to Eretz, to the Midbar. But the Avira, the Eretz Yisrael, killed them because of what they said it's Echelos Yisrael, and it killed them. And this foreigner who said before, Eretz Avira ain't boy doifi, when in reality the Avir of Eretz Yisrael has no doifi, it's just kulei kodesh and wonderful, but since they said it's Echelos Yisrael, so it killed them. You see from there that if you don't appreciate it, you don't got it. And if you're negative towards it, it's negative towards you, Aviyah Eretz Yisrael. But if you're positive towards Aviyah Eretz Yisrael, and as much as you appreciate it, it says, Kedai, to stay ben azmanim in Eretz Yisrael, so I'll have Aviyah Eretz Yisrael, and Torah Eretz Yisrael, and Torah Eretz Yisrael. Every day more that you're giving up and staying in Eretz Yisrael, so the machkim, how much machkim, you decide which camera you get. And you decide how much matana. Give them matana, says the Baral, Eretz Yisrael and Teras Eretz Yisrael are matanos, and they're not the same to everybody. And now I'll prove my point from the Gemara. The Gemara I quoted many times before. I never understood it until I realized this you say. Say with the Gemara and Stumas Ayin Hay. Everybody knows. Omer Abaye. Chad minayu odif kitrei minon. We're sitting in Chutz La'aretz, in Bavel. Not America. Not America. In Bavel. One Yid with the same IQ, the same kishrot, same amount of hours, same amount of effort and energy in Eretz Yisrael, is one of them is double. It says in Rashi, Pikrim v'charifim. In Eretz Yisrael, somebody sitting in Eretz Yisrael, same level of everything else, is double the power of Pikrim v'charifim as somebody sitting in Bavel. Not America. America, I think it's 2,000 squared. Something like that. Better. You would take a few thousand. But it's not double. Not double is Bavel. And because Bavel has a special segula. Bavel was a Gval B'Gazach, and Bavel had Torah, and Bavel had main yeshivas. So Bavel was only half. And Bavel was close to Eretz Yisrael, and Bavel had dinim of Eretz Yisrael, in certain dinim, the whole Gemara in Gittin, Bavel, Eretz Yisrael, and Gittin, more so in Gittin, we're going to learn Be'ez Hashem this winter, Be'ez Hashem in Bara. Chad minayu k'trei minon. Amar Rova v'chad minon. Well, that's right. But one of us, Yisalik lahasam, one of us, Anshe Bavel, that goes to Eretz Yisrael, odif k'trei minayu. He becomes a chutznik who goes to Eretz Yisrael, becomes twice as charif as the Ben Eretz Yisrael. Which means he's 4 times as charif as he was in Bavel. A Bavel nigga goes to Eretz Yisrael. The norm of Eretz Yisrael is twice as much as Bavel, but the Bavel nigga becomes twice as much as Eretz Yisrael. He gains 4 times in stature. What is that? Eretz Yisrael is machkim. Aviyah Eretz Yisrael is machkim. Then why is it? And the answer is very partial. But what did you give for it? What did you sacrifice for it? One of us goes, leaves behind, lech lecha v'yartzecha. You leave your stereo, and you leave your bed, and you leave your car, and you leave your this, and you leave your that. And you sit here in Eretz Yisrael, and you eat the food here in Eretz Yisrael. And you don't go to the restaurant every night or every other day. You stay whatever there is, and you don't have to. And you stay. You sacrifice. You gave up. You appreciate more. The one who's born here, how much appreciation did he show for Eretz Yisrael? He's here by default. He was born here. What if somebody would come to him and tell him, and Avrech sitting here, Tishma, there's a kollel in Los Angeles, $2,000 a month. The house was a Los Angeles house, Beverly Hills, and you need a lot of planes. It was unlimited space. You need a lot of planes to fly him in. But you're leaving there for $2,000 a month. I'm completely incredible. Yeah, but learning in the atmosphere of Los Angeles. Viva de Los Angeles, I don't want to say what. But $2,000 it's up for it, doesn't it? But the Chutznik came over here in Eretz Yisrael. Chad minayim gisalik lahasam adif titrei minayim. And because Avir at Eretz Yisrael, you get what you sacrifice, what you give. When you come, or Yoshav, somebody who stays and doesn't go there, if he came. You get it all over again. Every Ben Azman that you make achlot to the state, if you came again. It's a new coming. You didn't leave. You don't have to leave in order to come, just don't go. Make achlot to the state, and as if you didn't leave. We talk about two things, Rabbi Yisrael. Don't be jealous of those wretched unfortunates who left or have to leave. Wretched unfortunates. Shed a few tears for them. Shed a few tears for me. I got to be there for 2 weeks. Breathe poison polluted air. Too much else. Be happy you're here. I have kavanah. Now, Yeshiva Eretz Yisrael is a mitzvah. Some say it's mitzvah d'oraisa, or shaila, exactly, I'm not going to go into it. It's certainly an Indian Godel Ma'oid, and when you have kavanah is moisiv, whether you need kavanah to be yoitzer or not, depends, the machlekes, the chal, and the d'oraisa, and the rabbanan, but the kuli alma, kavanah is moisiv, be'echus ha-mitzvah. So think about it. I'm sitting in Eretz Yisrael, and I'm happy that I'm sitting in Eretz Yisrael. Not that I'm jealous of those lucky stiffs who are in the pool in the camp up in the Catskills. Those poor, unfortunate, wretched creatures who are missing what life is all about for the superficial existence of America. And ani zachisi liyos be'eretz Yisrael. Make use of these times. Make use of these weeks. And the main yesod is, the third thing I mentioned many times, that the zmanim where less people learn, schar Talmud Torah is greater. Schar Talmud Torah doesn't just mean b'shamayim, your bank book in Shamayim, which is very nice. It means schar Talmud Torah in this world right here. Schar Talmud Torah meaning your steiging. Now, Rosh Chodesh Tammuz, last 5 weeks of the Zman, and then there's 3 weeks of Bein Hazmanim. Tammuz and Av, every minute counts more than ever before. Tammuz is Gavaldik. The Americans sitting here, the Americans sitting here have an extra month of chizuk, an extra credit month. Because in America, Tammuz is vacation time. So Americans sitting here get, in Eretz Yisrael, the other yeshivas have Chodesh Av, you get extra credit, but you get 2 months of extra credit. That you gain by that warped idea of 2 months vacation in America, that you have an extra month, the first of those 2 months sitting here, you get more extra credit because everybody's flying away and running away, and you're sitting here. Chasdei Hashem, fortunate, wonderful people, but do it b'simcha. Echad b'simcha yoiser me'elef shaloi b'simcha. The lashon of Chazal that the Reish Chachma brings down. Again, Echad b'simcha yoiser me'elef shaloi b'simcha. Which means, 1 day of sitting here in Chodesh Tammuz Av in Eretz Yisrael, b'simcha, is better than 1,000 days of sitting here, shaloi b'simcha. I can't go. You also get schar if you sit there shaloi b'simcha. But elef b'simcha yoser, echad b'simcha yoser elef shaloi b'simcha. do it with kavanah, do it with simcha, and realize the Kodesh Baruch Hu gives you matonos, Torah, Eretz Yisroel, says the moral is matnas Hashem. And the matnas Hashem is how much you sacrifice for it, how much you appreciate it. Go for the Hasselblad, go for the real thing, go for the tops. Really want a lot. Kishrod means nothing at all. Everybody knows that Kishrod is nothing. Godless Torah comes from Yigiyas HaTorah, from a Rotzoin and She'ifa and Asmoda. That's where Godless comes from. All the Gedolim who ever worked Kimat were either regular average or below average, who became Gedolim with their She'ifos and their Rotzoinis and their Asmoda and their Simcha and never giving up and never having any Yush. And this is the Zman to really make it. We are now entering the 2 biggest months of steiging possible in the world, and the Mokim being in Eretz Yisrael. This is it. This is the time, and this is the place. Use it well.